The first layer is the hardware layer. So these are the chips. We've got the GPUs. The second layer is the infrastructure layer. So these are the people that own the chips and provide access to them. The third is what I've called the massive model layer. So these are the big, both foundation models and other massive models that other AI is built on top of. The next layer is what I've called the application model layer. And then the final layer is the consumer layer. So there's 5 steps there. So as I said, the hardware layer, these are the chips manufacturers. These are the NVIDIAs, the AMDs of the world. And I think we'll see a few more pop up in the space for a couple of different reasons, such as one is the Critical Technologies Act. And then the second reason as well is there's so much focus on the space and there's so much interest in the space that we'll probably see some breakthrough technologies come out of here in the next few years, and with that, new companies. The infrastructure layer are the people who own the chips and provide access to it. So that's the AWSs, the Azures, the Google Clouds of the world. Their business is owning this stuff and giving it to you and charging a fee for that ability.
So, I mean, on this, just to make sure we're on the same page, if you had a provider that, let's say they ran an AI platform, not model specific, but hey, give us your model, we'll run it. And underneath that, it might be AWS or Google Cloud. Are you putting them in this layer as well?
No, I'm not. They're in the one above, which is the massive model layer or the application model. So at the moment, we actually have no AI. There has been zero AI made when we're at. So this is just AWS, and they go, hey, we have GPUs available for whoever wants them. That's where we're at. The next layer are the core and the foundation models. So these are the GPTs. These are the stable diffusions. They're the llamas, OpenAI, Meta, Anthropic. They play at this space. They're building big, friggin' massive models. Obviously, there's an overlap between the infrastructure layer and the massive models. So Google creates massive models, but they also own some of the infrastructure as well. Someone like Anthropic, who doesn't own GPUs, doesn't play in the infrastructure layer. The next layer I've put on top of this is the application model. And I think it's important to distinguish this between the massive models. And the reason is that at the application model, at the end of the day, you have created AI, but I don't think AI is your complete secret sauce. It would generally mean that you have created some AI, but it's not a massive model that's like impactful in the way that an LLM is. Or you've fine-tuned on top of one of these massive models in some way. And generally you have some consumer interaction. And I think these would mainly be very vertically specific, generally B2B businesses. So I think Harvey AI, Jasper AI, and Zapier are kind of good examples of these companies where they have AI, but it's not as massive as something like GPT-4 or Llama is. Now the next layer, and this is what our friend from Hacker News helped me get my head around, is called the consumer layer. And this is the layer that's absolutely focused in putting AI capability in front of individuals and making it part of everyday life. Think like Siri, right? Think like having your own personal assistant. And I think what's funny about this is that there's going to be heaps and heaps of application model companies out there. There's going to be heaps of Harvey AIs. There's going to be heaps of Jaspers. But I think when we go one layer deeper towards the consumer, well, there's going to be actually not that many. Because I think we're in the world where they're going to be giving these away for free because it's almost commoditized AI. Personal assistant AIs are going to be a dime a dozen in a couple of years. We're already seeing new search engines popping up left, right, and center, such as Perplexity and things like that. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to whether you use a Pixel or an iPhone or whether you use Windows or Mac. And there'll be things that determine that preference for you. But I think this is where big tech is going to be really battling it out at this layer. And so they're kind of almost going to be big tech's going to be in the massive model layer and they're going to be in the consumer layer. And it's going to be things like giving away AI free to the consumer. So those are kind of the 5 layers. And I think the dynamics of this chain is that it kind of is like a little bonbon, right? It's really thin in terms of number of players at the top end. There's not going to be that many NVIDIAs or AMDs because it's just so expensive to do and you need massive scale. There's going to be a few more infrastructure players, so the curve gets a little bit fatter. And then we're going to get to this massive model and application. There's going to be more at the massive model level, especially as open source projects come out. And then we're going to get to the application model layer, and it's going to be massive. There's going to be thousands of these companies. We've every week there's 10 that are raising money at the moment at this application level. And then when we come back to this consumer layer, so we're at this give it away for free, make AI a feature, it's gonna be small once again. It's gonna like thin out. So it's almost like this like Bonbon-esque.
That's interesting. I mean, do you think this value chain includes all the cases where AI is there, but it's not like it kind of just blurs into the background eventually? You know, like you use some stuff and it's got AI in it, and you just don't think about the fact that it's AI in it. Like, I don't know, Spotify makes you a playlist, and there's probably some really advanced AI doing that, but you don't think, oh yeah, AI playlist. You're like, yep, cool playlist.
Yeah. And I was trying to think about this as well. Where do the companies fit where they have AI in the back end, but you don't actually friggin' see it? Like, where does YouTube fit on? If you take YouTube out of Google, right? They've got AI. They've got AI working on the algorithm that suggests you content. They've got AI working on how to best deliver. Where do they fit on this? And I think they're kind of in this like application consumery world almost, but yeah, I'm not sure exactly where these like fade into the distance AI is, but my feeling is that it's going to be, there's ones where you don't see AI is probably going to be more at they're going to fit more in the consumer, because they're essentially giving AI for free, and it's making it making it a product feature, not making it the product. Thanks for listening to another episode. If you're liking this content, make sure you subscribe and like so we keep on going. And if you have any questions, make sure you hit us up on Twitter, join our Discord, or leave them in the comments below. Thanks again.